And we're back for another week back with The Script is Better.
Yay!
Or we'll see soon. This week we're doing Goldfinger. Bah, 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 bah.
Is that the music?
That's the music, totally.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
maybe I do.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
And then
Okay.
I think he shoots the screen. Maybe that's GoldenEye specifically, but I think that's Bond. Classic Bond. The old, I think this is 60s Bond.
Okay, so spoiler, it can't be Sean Connery. Yeah, like I wanted it to be, right? Or can it be? Could he
Oh,
be?
right. You don't know who it
I
is.
still don't know, and yeah, it was like, he'll tell me today. I don't know.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally Sean Connery.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was in the 60s, though. Yeah. And, okay. The screenplay was by Richard, I'm going to say Maybaum and Paul Den. And it's based off the original novel by Ian Fleming, who wrote all the Bond novels.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to see how faithfully the novel to script adaptation was. I've read one Ian Fleming Bond novel. I think it was the first one, Casino Royale, and that one was very different from the movie, at least the most recent one. So it'd be interesting to see how they differ. I do know that things like the naming convention for women, I'm pretty sure that comes from Ian Fleming himself.
Naming them after body parts?
Yeah, exactly. Or just innuendos in general.
It is like pussy galore and innuendo. Isn't that just saying like lots of vagina?
You just named a Austin Powers character.
No, she's in this, isn't she?
Well, Pussy Galore is in this, but then Austin Powers spoofed it in one of his films by naming a character a lot of vagina.
Oh, right.
But she was played by.
I never understood those references. There's so much of that in this, like without getting into it too much, that I laughed at because I can only hear Dr. Evil saying it.
Yeah. You know, the Austin Powers films, they're totally spoofing Bond left and right, but it feels like those Austin Powers movies could almost be like serious Bond films from the 60s.
Okay, amazing.
I mean, yeah, Dr. Evil is even like kind of, I guess his name's, what is his name? Oh, no, his name's Dr. Evil, but yeah, they had Goldmember as the third movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Classic.
I don't know if we said this last time, but I've never seen a Bond film, so this is crazy.
Yeah, no, you've never seen, what about the modern ones?
No, never, not a single one.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you hadn't seen any of them. Okay. Well, the modern ones are very different. I think they ditched the naming convention after GoldenEye. The evil Bond girl in GoldenEye, I think, was Natasha Onyatop or something like that. So it's not
top?
Something like that. I think it was like on top.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, it gets better in modern days, but yeah, this is classic Bond. So, I guess we'll just start out with seeing how you liked Goldfinger.
I didn't. Okay, so I did for how silly it is. Mm-hmm. And because, again, I know Austin Powers very well, and especially know Goldmember very well. I think I saw that movie 3 times in theaters. I can, quote the whole thing. So for that, it was kind of fun because it made that feel new again. But in terms of, this being a movie on its own without any Austin Powers influence, I was like, oh, no. It's just, I don't know, not really for me. I feel like he's not as talented as I've been led to believe. It's like James Bond is invincible and he's so good at everything. And in this, I feel like he just kind of fumbles through it. He doesn't even listen to what his gadgets really do. He doesn't care. I was like, oh, I thought you were a superhero and you're just kind of like a dude.
Yeah, in this one especially, I think. I haven't seen any of the other classic Bond films, not fully at least. This one, it really seems like he's just some guy who goes around sleeping with women and somehow fumbles into saving the day.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, totally. I'm totally with you on that.
So they're not always like that.
No, especially the modern ones. Like since GoldenEye, especially, they've just gone heavy action. And he's a really good spy. He uses his gadgets, and he's an action hero, like Mission Impossible. So it's very much like that. But this, yeah, I think he fumbles in a lot of ways. I think his MO in this film is sleep with a woman, get her killed, then move on.
Yeah. Which is why he only sleeps with Pussy Galore at the end of the film.
Exactly.
Because he genuinely likes this one.
Okay, can we spoil the film? Do you mind if we do this?
No.
Instead of like being an action hero, and he kind of does some action at the end, the thing that he does to save the day is sleep with a woman. He sleeps with Pussy Galore, making her betray Goldfinger. And so that's what saves the day, right? Because she betrays him, the police are able to foil the plans. That was his big move.
That was his big move. His dick saved the day.
Yeah. So in the end, you're saying that you enjoyed it for the humor, being like from this perspective, from this time, but the film in general, you can't appreciate it on its own, standing alone.
No.
That's fair.
Yeah. And like also the treatment of women. It's just like appalling. Like I know we talked about it a little bit, but like I started flagging anytime a woman was on screen and then just to see how they were addressed. And it was just like, no.
I don't think it's the case, but I would genuinely want to know the intentions of the writers, because it goes to such an extreme that it's like they must be parodying something. Like this must be a joke that they're in on. No one would act this way. But I think it was just a matter of they could get away with this, or like this was their fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you like it?
I can't get past what you were saying as well, the sexism. Like it's just so blatant throughout the entire film, and there's also just like some weird beats that I thought were just like, why did that happen? One in particular, the driving scene where they have this whole driving scene where James Bond is escaping. So he escapes. He gets in his car with this other woman, the sister of somebody he slept with earlier and got killed.
Tilly.
Tilly, exactly, the sister of Tilly. So he got her.
Tilly is the sister.
Okay, Tilly is the sister. So he's with Tilly. He hasn't slept with her. Good news, she might survive. They go on a car chase. He stops the car. Tilly gets killed. He gets captured again, and then he escapes again, and they go on another car chase, only for him to get captured again. It just seemed like a weird, like, it's like we stopped all the action just so that we could kill this woman and then carry on with the same scene that we were just doing.
Yeah. Repetitive too.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, oh, car chase again. Okay. I found at the end of the film there was also a part where it was like Bond and Oddjob were fighting, where there were two scenes right next to each other that were exactly the same. I was like, we just saw this. And it's where like Oddjob defeats Bond in the exact same way. If Bond swings at Oddjob with a staff that he found on the trolley, and then Oddjob ducks and like takes the weapon away. And then it cuts away, and then next scene, Bond swings at Oddjob with a lever that he found on the trolley. Oddjob ducks and takes the weapon away. I was like, okay, but that's the same.
That is the same. I mean, Beck, it was a lever, it was a stick and then a lever, Beck. That's totally different. I don't know where the complaint is. I mean, we're kind of jumping around, but in the script, there's a scene, I don't know who is with, okay, it was with a maid.
No, the key card.
It was with, okay, was it the key card? What, okay.
Yeah, it's with the maid, but like the key card scene, it's awful.
No, there's the scene, like they just wrote out, really blatantly, they just Bond sniffs her hair. And I was like, yeah, it lines up with the rest of the writing in the script, but like this is just some random woman, and I think she's doing something, and he leans over and sniffs her hair. And it was just weird. It was just like that is just a creeper move. That's not even a suave I'm a cool guy move. You're just sniffing these random women's hair.
Yeah, it's Jill. He sniffs Jill's hair. Oh. She's the woman who was helping Goldfinger cheat at the card game. Tilly's
sister.
Yes.
It's all coming together.
Just in general, I've never understood the sniffing the hair thing.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've known any like man to like do that either. It's just in TV and movies that you see that happen.
Yeah, no, I couldn't say what's going on with that. That said, this movie just being like what it is, and at its time, they had a lot of like classic Bond puns, like when he electrocutes somebody in the bathtub, that random goon, and his saying is just shocking. It's just like, yeah, Bond, that's right. You're the hero. Okay, we're jumping around so much. I've never seen, just in terms of the writing of the actual script, I'd never seen them actually put down that they end reels on the script. I'm wondering if the script was written post in something, or if this was something that they did back in the day.
I've never seen it in a script either. Yeah, like, is that something that the editor, I guess, adds? The cigarette burns in the corner so that the person on the reel knows to change it? And maybe, yeah, the person who wrote the script is just telling the editor where to put it?
Yeah, maybe. I'm worried. I mean, I'm not worried, but I wonder if maybe this was like more of a transcript than the original script.
Possibly.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we can continue with just picking apart this script if you want. Like,
Yeah.
this seems to be like what we're doing. Is there anything that stood out that beyond the treatment of women, or we can continue to talk about that you wanted to talk about that was kind of negative about the film, about the script?
Nope, I would say that is the thing. This all of my F-bombs throughout my notes are because of women.
Yeah. When we were just talking about being done reading the script, your pretty much only thing to me was like, fuck Bond.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's this little things that I caught. Like, I mean, this is gonna happen in any movie, but this is just a thing. Odd Job, right at the beginning, Bond messes with Goldfinger and he uses Jill to do that. And then Odd Job comes and kills Jill, just knocks out Bond, but doesn't kill Bond. I mean, like, Bond's the one that did all the shit. Like, Jill sure betrayed Goldfinger, but it was Bond behind everything. Why did you send Odd Job to kill Jill and not kill Bond, who he easily knocked out? Like, that would have been end of film right there.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
There's also the thing in this that's parodied definitely in like so many movies of a bad guy telling their whole plan to the hero. And so only because Goldfinger told Bond everything that he was going to do did Bond know to like send that message to Felix and everyone.
Totally. I noted at one point it was the first time that Bond and Goldfinger actually met on the green at when they were golfing. Mm-hmm. Bond takes a gold bar and he throws it out on the green. I'm just saying you don't do that. Bond is cool and he just does whatever he wants, sure. But that's going to leave a dent in the green, which is going to throw people off. You don't want to do that to the green. So.
All right. Having worked at a golf club for many years.
Yeah, you're not even like when you putt. Generally, the person who's farther back from the cup will hit first because the person who's in front is going to make indents with their feet.
Oh.
And so you want to let the people go, and that's why even in the script, Bond offers like, do you want me to just knock it in, or do you want to go first? Because Bond is right in front of the cup and he can easily knock it in, and Goldfinger's just like, yeah, knock it in, whatever.
Okay.
But it would have been it was Goldfinger's right to go first.
Okay.
Golf
so, but
knowledge.
Then what happens when people are like on the fair right behind you and they're coming up to swing next? Yeah. And
they
then,
have to wait.
But do they wait for the grass to like reset itself, or does somebody come in on the ground and like
No.
fix the grass for you?
No, it's just a matter of right then. I think like it's not going to leave a permanent indent or anything. The green, especially, like it's very, very thin. It's cut very thin. So at that time, just like stepping in front, that's a no-no. Especially, I think the bottom of golfers' shoes will have like it'll be kind of like cleated like the like like soccer shoes. Yeah, like not quite like that, but similar. Whereas like a gold bar, just throwing that down, like that just like it's going to be heavy, right? It's going to leave like a permanent dent.
Mm-hmm. Since we're on the golf area, I really liked the way Bond outsmarted him. I thoroughly enjoyed that scene. I didn't understand what was happening when he was talking to his caddy and he had like 2 balls. I was like, I don't get what's happening. And then when it finally happened, I was like, oh, you're a genius. Okay.
Yeah, because he was playing the wrong ball. Yeah, well, he was cheating, but yeah, that was smart for sure. What did you think about Odd Job?
I didn't.
Okay, cool.
That hat thing is a weird trait, I guess.
Yeah.
He can like throw his hat like a frisbee and it can just like seemingly decapitate people.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
I like
okay.
that. Yeah.
You liked it?
I did like that. I mean, it's stupid, but like stupid in a fun way.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like having worn hats with wide brims like that, the wind just like takes them. So
but there's metal in this hat, Beck, so
okay.
it'll be weighed down.
I just imagine like the wind like taking his hat and it just slices somebody by accident.
Yeah. The reason I asked about Odd Job because I wonder why they had to make him deaf. Like I guess it cuts down on lines. He was probably deaf in the book too. I don't know, like he makes sounds at different parts of the script. It was I found it was a weird choice.
Right. Why is
Oh,
everybody named for what they do?
I mean, who is named for what they do back?
What?
Like Odd Job, sure.
Pussy galore.
She flies planes back,
And in the end is just a receptacle.
sure. And Goldfinger likes gold.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets the point across, right?
Right. Is that also a thing that happens throughout the series?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. Yeah, like there's a guy named Jaws who has metal jaws. He's a big goon. He's kind of like a goon like Odd Job, but he's like invincible.
Oh, okay.
Odd Job's kind of invincible too.
It seems.
And then I don't remember, there's Blofeld. I think that's like the main villain, the one that kind of looks like Dr. Evil. You got an eye patch and stuff.
That reminds me of the bad guy in Sonic.
Oh, Dr. Robotnik. Totally.
Yeah.
I guess they're kind of similar. Maybe Dr. Robotnik was based off of Blofeld. Did you understand in the script why Pussy Galore called Mei Lee? She called her by her name in two different ways. I think she said Mei Lee and then Miley.
No.
It was noted in the script. It was a note. Like,
yeah, I remember being like, huh? Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they'll explain it later. And then it never came up again.
Trying to figure out, like, is this some kind of way, like, they're trying to hint at what she does, like Odd Job? But no, in no way does it come across. Is there anything you liked about the film, Beck?
I definitely liked the golf course stuff, and I liked when Pussy Galore like had her initial moments with Bond, like the stuff that she was saying after me going up until that point in the script being like, fuck you Bond, every time he like interacted with a woman. It was just nice for her to like stand up to him
and then give in the end.
Yeah.
Unfortunate writing.
There was also one word that I liked, witticism.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one word by Goldfinger that I enjoyed. Those are the two things I liked in the script. Yeah, but he was like, choose your next witticism carefully. And I was like, ooh, that's a good line.
Yeah, that is a good line.
Yeah, no, there's nothing else that I liked.
I mean, I like that the timer stopped on 007.
Cheese. You didn't think of cheese?
It's total cheese, but I love cheese.
Okay. I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, no. Okay, that was cheese, too.
No, but really, I don't eat dairy.
No, I get it.
I have a couple more, like, oh no's. Just like when Bond gets out of the water and he, like, pulls off his diving suit and he's just, like, wearing a tuxedo and that's completely fine. I was like, come on. Diving suits are tight. If that tuxedo is not wrinkled like crazy underneath this diving suit, I'm going to be so mad. You cannot fit a tuxedo underneath a diving suit. I refuse.
Fair point. Counterpoint.
Yes.
He snuck in as a seagull. He was in a diving suit and he had a seagull on his head, like a fake seagull that couldn't move or talk. It was just a plastic seagull thing that he had on his head, and he was swimming underwater to get past the guards. Amazing.
That's the counterpoint. To that area, that was funny. And then also there's a line that Bond says about drinking Dom Perignon, and he's like, that's as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs. And I was like, does that mean Bond doesn't like the Beatles? Like, he doesn't want to listen to the Beatles without earmuffs?
Yeah, I caught that too. I was wondering if that was like an old British way of saying headphones.
Okay.
And so maybe he's saying, like, you need the purity of the sound in your ears.
Right. Okay.
It could go either way, but I think that's what he was trying to say.
Okay. I won't hold that against him then.
Oh, you can. I did like that Goldfinger's way of smuggling was to use his car. I assume that the car would weigh a lot. I don't know. Does gold weigh a lot?
Yeah, it must, because like when somebody has a brick of gold, that's like a heavy thing.
And so yeah, I thought that was clever.
Not that I've ever touched one.
You don't have just like a pile of gold bricks in your closet?
There was one time when I looked into buying
just like the gold will always be good.
Yeah, but then I decided against it.
I mean, if I had a brick of gold, like I'd have to hide it really well, because I'd be worried, because then if somebody steals that gold, that's a big chunk of money just gone, right?
Wouldn't you just put it in a safety deposit box?
I guess, Beck, but like apparently if I get married, the wife can just like go in and take it and drive off. The cops will just help her, so that's not safe.
Throwback. Casino was dumb.
2 dumb movies in a row.
Yay!
Yay! So yeah, that's pretty much all the things that I liked, and then we talked about all the things we hated. I mean, is there anything else you want to say about Goldfinger?
I mean, can we just go into some of the women stuff? Like we said that it was like pretty sexist, but there are like some. I just think we should talk about some of them.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so when Bond is first talking to Jill, and he's like, "Why do you do this?" And she's like, "Oh, he pays me for it." And then Bond's like, "Is that all he pays you for?" And then it's kind of insinuated that she also has sex with him. And then Bond says, "You're much too nice to be mixed up in anything like this, you know." And I was like, ooh, a nice woman can't be an escort. Like, really?
I thought she denied being an escort. I thought she was like, I'm only doing this.
Yeah, she said just seen.
Mm-hmm.
She gets paid for being seen with him.
Yeah.
That's like the girlfriend experience still, that, you know, like just being somebody's arm candy is an escort of sorts. It's not necessarily sleeping it with him.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to, like, that doesn't downplay your point. Like, you're totally right that he was being patronizing and offensive there. But yeah, I was just talking about that one point. I don't think she actually slept with Goldfinger. Who wants to sleep with Goldfinger, right?
Fair. The main title sequence, images of Bond's exploits are projected on a voluptuous bikini-clad woman. Cool. Great.
I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to like any of the Bond films. I think, like, even into the 90s, that was always the thing. It might still be in the most recent films too. Oh, wow. It's always like dancing women, like scantily clad women, like the silhouettes of them.
Fine. Fine. But you can just say exactly how you said it. Silhouetted dancing woman, you know, totally. Or a dancing silhouetted woman instead of like a voluptuous bikini clad, you know, easy. Oh my gosh, this line killed me. When Felix and Bond are talking and Bond needs his masseuse Dink to leave, he says, "Dink, say goodbye to Felix." And Dink's like, And Bond's like, man talk. I was like, oh no. I want to hurt you. Why is her name Dink too? Again, somebody probably named off of like what the men were saying that her job is. Just a dink.
Oh no. No, yeah, that was very, yeah. I mean, he's just a patronizing ass, right? And like very dismissive. Yeah, just the kind of character he is. Like it at that time, at least he was. That's, yeah.
The one that was the worst for me, though, is, well, Miss Peony being obsessed with him is pretty bad.
Moneypenny?
Moneypenny, yeah. Being obsessed with him. And her being like, do I still have hope? Like, her only reason to live is if Bond will possibly sleep with her one day. It was pretty bad. But when Bond actually hooks up with Pussy Galore, it just seemed like such sexual assault. Like, Bond's mouth comes down on hers and they kiss, struggling at first. Pussy finally relents and lets him kiss her. Ooh, so she's struggling, and then finally she relents? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And just like lets him kiss her. I was like, oh, yeah.
No, totally. And you have to, I mean, you have to wonder if movies like this and stories like this are partly responsible for why some men think that when a woman says no, it just means try harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's never a good thing when you see this in a film.
No.
Or in any story.
It's like continued to happen for yourself. It like reminded me of the scene in Blade Runner 2 when Harrison Ford's character like forces himself on that Rachel girl in his apartment. Like she's like really trying to get away. And eventually she just also relents. And I'm like, oh gosh. Yeah. Over and over in movies.
No, it's never good. It's not impressive that they had that in there. The script is just problematic left and right, eh?
Yeah. I have a question. So when Bond is finally free and it's a bomb, right?
It's a bomb, yeah.
Yes, he's at a bomb and he's trying to get it open and he just takes stuff and starts hitting it.
He was trying to hit a lock.
Wouldn't hitting, like doing any kind of like pounding near a bomb, on the lock on a bomb, just detonate it?
I don't think so.
No?
No, there could be a lot of reasons for that. Like it could depend on like a mixture of chemicals for the bomb to go off.
Right.
I don't know how this bomb works. I think they said it was a nuclear bomb or atomic bomb. I don't know. But it could also just be the case that like I think he was hitting a lock and it was on like an outer casing.
Right.
of the bomb. Like, sure, he's taking a risk, but I don't think it's as dramatic a risk as you might think. And I'm willing to let it go because you're in like a desperate situation. There's 3 minutes or something, maybe less, before you need to disarm this bomb.
Yeah, it's 39 seconds.
Okay, 39. Yeah. What are you gonna do, right? You're just gonna be like,
Fair.
oh, I give up. I'm not gonna hit it in case it goes off.
Okay, fair. You win this one, Bond.
Yes. Script is not sexist.
And I'm curious to see how big this window in this plane is that Goldfinger gets sucked out of, because I've never seen a big window on a plane.
No, I think it'll be a small window, and it'll probably be one of those like small sucking things. They did it in Alien Resurrection, I think. Is that number 4?
I haven't seen an Alien movie. I've seen Alien versus Predator.
Okay, well that might be something to watch eventually as well. I saw Alien 1. I've seen Alien 2. Okay, never mind. Alien 1 would be a good film. Like Ellen Ripley's a great character. But yeah, that actually does happen in an Alien movie as well. I don't know what the logic is. I don't know if that actually happens. They're in space, and the alien at the end is sucked out like this pinhole size crack.
Okay.
And so I just guess the suction is just that powerful.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Beck, I mean, now that we've talked about the ups and downs, what do you think you're most excited to see from Goldfinger?
I'm most excited to see how much the Austin Powers Goldmember is similar to this movie. But like to this character. I know that's silly. It's because it's not specific to this movie on its own, but because I know that movie so well and I love that movie, yeah, I'm just excited to see the similarities and how they come together. On its own, I guess I'm excited to see Pussy Galore shoot him down initially.
Mm-hmm.
Not excited to see her then succumb.
Okay.
But yeah, in the Austin Powers movies, Goldmember eats skin off of himself. He like saves pieces of skin from himself.
Oh.
He eats them. And I'm just wondering, like, does Goldfinger like shed skin?
I don't think that's a thing.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from. Maybe it came from a different one.
Okay.
If anything, like I was saying before, Dr. Evil's more like Blofeld, I think. And so maybe Blofeld does something weird, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm most excited. That's a really cool thing. Yeah, it'll be cool to see that scene, especially with Pussy Galore. I'm most excited about, just the two fun things I was talking about earlier. The seagull disguise. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so brief, and it's going to be like, how did anyone fall for this? And and I'm also excited to see Oddjob throwing his hat, especially.
Okay.
I'm especially excited to see Oddjob. Unfortunately, I'm excited to see Oddjob killing Tilly with the hat, because I feel like for the shootout, she must have been far, like they would have parked far enough away that like it would have been a distance, because they're having an actual shootout, right? So Oddjob wouldn't have been close. And along with that, she's also running away, so she's getting farther away. So to have that accuracy with your hat at that distance, I mean, it's beyond belief. But I'm willing to like give this a shot, and I'm excited to see him throw that hat.
To throw that hat, and just to see how they accomplish it, just in terms of filming it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun. Okay, so let's do this thing that I'm not looking forward to.
Okay, yeah, let's go watch Goldfinger. Okay, Beck, today's question is a little bit more playful, fun, fantastic. What world would you want to inhabit in film? So, like, would you want to be in the Indiana Jones universe? Have weird magical properties happening all around you? Or would you want to be in the Beguiled universe? Oh, no, that'd be bad.
Okay, so I think I have two answers. I would want to be in Clueless, but only if I was able to be brought into the Cher's like inner circle like Ty was.
Right. So basically you want to live in the early 90s.
Yes. I want to live in the early 90s. I want to have a closet where I can have visual images of it and just have it like rotate on this huge thing. I want to date Paul Rudd. That'd be fantastic. So that, and then my other answer was That Thing You Do just because I love music from that time, and those guys seem like so much fun, and that would just be like a cool thing. I can't sing, and so being like in that world, maybe I could sing in that reality, or at least I could be like Liv Tyler's character and just like go around clapping with the tambourine. That'd be fun.
Right, yeah. Wasn't it? I never saw that movie. Was it only the boy band that sang, or did everyone sing? Was it like a musical?
There were some other bands, like the Rondells were in it as well, but it was only at like a kind of, this is a tour of the big bands of the time sort of thing.
Right.
It really focused on the Wonders.
When were they set? Was that like the 50s?
It was like Beatles era, I feel.
60s?
I don't exactly fully know.
Sure. So basically, you want to be in a movie that's either the early 90s, early to mid 90s, or the 60s.
Yeah.
You don't actually want to be in a movie. You want to time travel.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, very cool. Well then, I hope you get the chance to time travel.
I mean, if anyone could speed up that discovery, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, fun. For now, let's travel back in time to, I think, the 60s as well, and continue on with Goldfinger the film.
Okay, and we're back with our second half of the Goldfinger podcast episode.
If you haven't seen it, that is the tune of Goldfinger's theme song. I'm pretty sure is what you were just doing, right?
I wasn't purposely doing it, but I think I pretty much I got to it. Yeah. And plays a lot throughout the film, eh?
It does.
Yeah. It wasn't something I was annoyed about, but we'll get to that. First, we can just jump right into it. I mean, we've read the script, now we've watched the film. Our initial opinions or feelings about the film were very lukewarm to negative, but now we've watched the film, this classic James Bond, and let's just hear, what are your initial thoughts about Goldfinger?
Oh, I did not like it. I did not like it one bit. I don't know that there's anything in it that I'm like, oh, okay, but this was kind of cool. Actually, I did write that I really enjoyed that theme song, so that was cool. But I had a really hard time paying attention. There were whole parts of the movie where I was like, oh shit, I think I just blacked out for like 15 minutes.
Okay, that's fair. I do have much fewer notes on this film than I did on the script. So why do you think you might have blacked out then? Do you think it was just boring, or it was...
Yeah, I found that it was not very dialogue heavy at all. It was very action heavy, but the action wasn't like exciting. Like the car chase scene, that scene, I don't even remember what it looks like. I cannot tell you what it looks like. Also, like the last maybe third of the film, or maybe last quarter rather, with all the bomb stuff that's happening and Oddjob fighting Bond. I know what that looks like from the script, but I cannot tell you what it looks like on screen very much.
Okay, I can visualize it better from the movie. Like I got a lot out of it, a lot more than I did from the script. I remember the fight between Oddjob and Bond, and I noted the point where Bond picks up a stick, attacks Oddjob, and then Bond picks up another stick and attacks Oddjob.
Is it exactly the same?
There were two different sticks.
Okay.
They're very different. Like if I was to write that in a script, I would maybe differentiate them by saying pipe and stick.
Right.
One was a very large, long club-like thing, and the other was just like a small pipe about the size of a tire iron, I think.
But as earlier noted, it was essentially just the same beat back to back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are right.
Okay.
So I think I would have to agree with you that like the film wasn't phenomenal or anything. I did find that the pacing was better watching it than reading it. Even the car chase scene, I don't think that it's justifiable to have that break where they get out of the car, they have the gunfight, then they get back into a car, Bond is captured, he then escapes again and has another car chase. It just flowed better on screen than it did on the script.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so if our initial impressions are negative, how about we dig down into that more by looking at the actual actors? How did you think Sean Connery did as James Bond?
I don't know that he was Bond. Like, I only know him as an older man, and he kind of, in what I've seen him in, I feel as if he's kind of had that pompous attitude. That he brings that to many things.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of is that character for me, so I didn't didn't feel like he was doing necessarily anything that was different from what I had always seen him do. That being said, that could just be like what he's been pegged as, and people just ask him to continue doing that. So I don't know if it's him or if he just keeps playing the same roles. But
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I did note that in the scene where he's meeting with the head of his organization and another British government employee, Hugh and somebody else,
Felix.
I did notice that he was not Felix. No, that was the American. This was the guy that was like a British person.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, I don't remember what his name was, but I did notice that Bond kind of played like the subservient, more penitent role to his regular cockiness out in the field. I thought he did well for switching from like, I'm in the lower position here, and so I'm going to act accordingly, even though I push back sometimes. I thought that was well done. But in general, you're right. It was just Sean Connery being cocky Bond type character that he has done in many other things to different effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Medicine Man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is Hunt for the Red October a movie that he's in?
Yes.
That's okay. So that's what I remember him. And then there's like I don't know, like maybe him and Nicolas Cage are in like The Rock?
The Rock, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Then there was one of those feel good, like inspirational movies, Finding Forrester, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also like just SNL's Celebrity Jeopardy portrayal, which obviously is not him, but I do like that's the biggest non-role that I've seen him in.
Yeah. Oh man.
To my Sean Connery knowledge. He's also in the third Indiana Jones, which I have not seen.
You haven't seen the third Indiana Jones?
No.
I think many people would say that's the best one.
Okay. 3 years ago I saw the first one.
Holy
This
cow.
year I saw the second one, and I have not seen the third one yet.
The second one is probably the worst of the three, if you don't include the fourth one. But number
I've
three
seen
is
the
great.
fourth one. I like the fourth one.
Oh.
Crystal Skull? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, I had seen that without having seen the first three. So I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, I think 1 and 3 are appreciated much more.
Okay.
Yeah. So just back to the script, do you think that the translation from script to film brought anything? Do you think it was different in any way?
No, I thought it was very much the same. The thing for me is that on screen I was able to notice a plot hole or two, which I didn't get on the paper.
Like what plot holes?
Okay, so Goldfinger tells his room of investors his whole plan for Fort Knox, but then he killed all of them, except for the one guy that he let go from the room, who Oddjob then kills. So he had planned the whole time to kill everybody. It's not anything that happened in that room that he was like, ooh, now I have to kill these people. Because they were all on board with his plan. So the whole time he was going to kill them, the only reason we heard that plan was so Bond could overhear it. And I was just like, okay, there was no reason for any of that. You need to have like a stronger reason to do that. Something should have happened in that room where Goldfinger decided, okay, no, actually, I'm changing the plan. I'm just going to kill everybody.
Yeah, you're right. And I think you pushed back against that even in the script.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember you pushing back against that fairly, for sure. And in the film and in the script, not only does he tell them their whole plan, but he tells them a fake plan too.
Yeah, he was going to go into Fort Knox and yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He was just going to steal the gold according to that plan, but really he's going to irradiate the gold to just make his own gold worth more. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be much point to that, except so Bond has some information, the false information, but I guess information enough that he can tell Felix and them. Again, something that doesn't work out anyway, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that was the only plot hole.
Yeah, and then just like tiny, like nitpicky things, not plot hole things, but just like I call bullshit on this. Like I laughed out loud when he sunk below the window of his jail cell when he was trying to bait that guard, and then he comes in and Bond's on the ceiling. So I just called bullshit on him being able to, one, just do that at all, but two, do that fast and do it silently. I was like, no. When you saw him fighting in previous scenes, it was so clumsy. Like none of the fight scenes in this are like danced or choreographed or anything like that. They're all just so like people falling into each other, which I kind of liked because that's more true to life. But at the same time, nobody who just is that clumsy would be able to do that.
Well, I'm going to actually push back against that scene in a different way because I'm okay with that happening. I can suspend my disbelief in that way. I couldn't suspend my disbelief in that you know that there's no way out of that room.
Yeah.
Why would you open up the door?
It's
You
true.
can see the only possible exit is a window, which still has bars on it, and he couldn't have gotten there without you seeing. So he just winked at you, and you got out of the way, and you're like, I've got to investigate this.
Yeah.
Wait 5 minutes, and I guarantee he'll show up again. He'll probably fall from the ceiling because he's been hanging there for 5 minutes. Just dumbest guard ever. Okay, well, if we're talking about from script to the film, then how about the scenes that you were most excited to see? I remember you were excited to see Pussy Galore rebuffing Bond. Did that work out the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, she had agency, and it was nice for her to put him in his place. It was so short-lived, but it was nice.
Oh, yeah, it definitely happened. I think that even Tilly kind of rebuffed Bond as well.
Yeah.
At first. Yeah, like they never slept together in the end, but she was kind of like, I've got something I'm doing right now, and you're just fucking it up, so get out of my way.
Yeah. Had he not, sent her to her death, they probably would have slept together.
Yeah, in so many ways. Like, had he not surprised her so that she ended up tripping the wire, setting off the alarm, and then driven off with her and, sent her running to get killed by Oddjob, everything was his fault, right?
Yeah.
Totally. And they would have slept together for sure. So yeah, what about the opposite though, Beck? That's what we were looking forward to, but what about what you were kind of dreading, the scene where Pussy Galore finally succumbs to his charms?
I mean, I think it felt just as much as sexual assault as I thought it was going to. When I was squeamish during it, I was like, no, she's really fighting that kiss. He's on top of her. His full weight is just on top of her.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there's nowhere to go. And instead of fighting this, I'm just gonna let it happen. No. Yeah, I did not enjoy it. And also, at the end of the film, she tries to wave the helicopter, and he's like, no, we're having sex. And he hides the two of them. That wasn't sexy either. This woman just wants to be saved from the situation, from you, and you're like, nope.
I agree. It wasn't a scene that'll hold up, or probably didn't even hold up back then either. I'm surprised that they wrote it and that they filmed it.
It definitely held up back then. In the 60s? When was this? 1960s?
Yeah, it was the 60s. You're right.
I'm sure that was fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, the seagull scene was really disappointing.
Because you wanted it to look faker than it did?
The seal looked more real. You're right. It totally
looked so
did.
real.
Yeah. It was disappointingly brief. I found it so brief. He swam with the seagull for 10 seconds and he was out.
Yeah.
And there were no guards around to see the seagull. And it was at night. You're underwater in this scuba gear. You don't need a seagull on your head. There's no reason why you should have that.
Yeah. Why the seagull at all?
Yeah.
Wait, why the seagull at all, even in the daytime?
I don't know. The only reasons I could think of is maybe in the daytime the water's clear enough that they could see him, but then he would have a seagull anyway, and they would see past the seagull anyway if the water was that clear.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense. The only other reason I can think of is if air bubbles come up, the seagull's a distraction.
True.
So that they could be like, oh, it's just the seagull.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the seagull. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was wearing a snorkel or if he was wearing the full-on scuba gear where he has the oxygen tanks. But if it was a snorkel, maybe the snorkel went through the body of the seagull, and that's how he was breathing.
Yeah, I thought he had oxygen tanks.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I could have been wrong.
So then also right after that scene, so there's no guards for Seagull Land, and then he goes into that hangar or whatever it is. He just strolls in and turns the light on. I'm like, how do you know nobody is in that room? How do you know? You just nonchalantly walk in and turn all the lights on. There could have been 10 people there with guns just pointed at you. It was just very strange.
Yeah, he just does things. He
Yeah,
does things, and they seem to work out most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were there any other points that you kind of had pushback on? I remember the whole Dink moment. I was like, oh no, this is exactly how it sounds in the script.
Yeah.
And then just the full out just ass pat as he sends her away.
Yeah.
Oh man.
By Dink man talk, ass slap. Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't great. Another just nitpicky thing was on the plane when Bond asks for his martini shaken not stirred from Miley, and she brings it back 2 seconds later. A shaken martini makes noise, and she never left the area of the plane. So you would have heard the ice. That wasn't a shaken martini for sure. It was in the wrong glass, and there was a straw in it. So I was oh,
maybe
this is weird.
Maybe Bond just can't tell the difference. He just asks for that every time, and he takes whatever he gets.
Yeah, fair.
If they handed him a beer in a bottle, he'd be like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. Well, do you want to talk about anything else that you had any pushback on? Any more of the treatment of women in film? Yeah.
Yes,
or anything else?
There was one more where I was mad for the intro. They said sexy voluptuous woman dances on screen. And I was like, come on, you could have just said the form of a woman. But when I actually saw it, I was like, oh, I kind of enjoy this. I wouldn't say like she was sexualized in any kind of way. Yes, she was naked and she was painted gold, but the lighting was kind of nice. And on her body, it was a bunch of scene previews from the movie, which I thought was very artistic and very nice. So I was not mad about that in the end.
Good. That's great. No, that's generally the intro that a Bond film has.
Okay.
I don't think it always has the scenes from the actual film, but it's generally like kind of that kind of movement or those kind of like action scenes. I think in one of the more recent ones, Bond's like falling, and it's featuring like the motif of the film where a lot of the things in Bond's life are falling apart, and so like it's him falling through like fire and stuff. It's pretty cool generally.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess they didn't really describe it well in the script.
No. And so, sorry, I just remembered there are two more little things. Okay, one thing is that when, I think it's Felix is telling Bond about Goldfinger, he says, Goldfinger is British but doesn't sound like it. Why have that little bit of information? Why not just make him not British? Is it because the actor couldn't do a British accent?
I think probably. Maybe they really like that actor. It's like, this guy can't do the British accent. I mean, we're here, so.
Yeah. It was just so strange. I noted it, and I was like, yeah, he doesn't. He definitely sounds like Belgian. Maybe just to give him like a little bit of backstory. They were like, oh, he doesn't sound British because he spent most of his time abroad, but we're not going to tell you about any of that stuff. Just know that that's why he lost his accent. And then my second one was that in the script, I kind of hated the Moneypenny interaction. I thought that her being in love with Bond was like, ugh, come on, every woman succumbs to him. Like, do we really need the secretary to be like so enamored by him? But on screen, it played much more lightly, and it almost seemed like a dance that they were doing that she didn't actually want to go her way, but it was just this bit that they had a history of doing. So why not continue it? And I thought that was harmless.
Yeah, I think I found that relationship was always a will they, won't they kind of thing, where it's kind of implied that they should be together, that he's just like a young rogue, that once he actually settles down, this is the woman that he should be with. But I think if you string that along long enough and he slept with hundreds of women by the end of this, that maybe he shouldn't be with anyone.
Yeah.
In the most recent films, she was originally an agent, like she was on the field as well. And so I don't want to give away, but something happened, and so she decides to take a desk job instead. And she's much more of an independent person. She's like doing her thing. She helps out sometimes. So I think she's a better character now. But like you were saying, like even at that point, they have a dynamic and she's not like mooning over him.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, well, let's move on. What things excited you that you didn't expect necessarily in the film?
I was very curious to see how well the suit would play, first of all. Like taking off the scuba gear and just having a suit, like what that was going to look like.
I remember that.
It did to me just look as ridiculous on screen as I thought it was going to. I feel like it would be probably wet a little bit. I don't think the scuba gear keeps everything underneath dry. It's just that scuba gear keeps you warm. So that was curious, and it was like completely unwrinkled and like way bigger than a wetsuit. Like you just wouldn't. Yeah, it was a big suit.
I can almost guarantee that they shot two scenes. One scene where he's running around, and then the other scene where he's just taking off the scuba gear.
For sure, you saw that too. Like the way it was cut, he was just like kind of holding it against one of his shoulders, and he just pushed it off. I was like, okay, fair. And then another thing I was very curious about was to see the scene where Goldfinger gets sucked out of the plane because of the window. I was like, how big is this window going to be, and like what is going to happen? And it was like a regular sized window, so that was believable. And he did kind of get stuck in that comical, like, oh no, big man, small window, and then get sucked out in the end. But what flabbergasted me was right after that, the plane just like repressurizes, and Bond just like kind of puts his feet down and starts walking. But the window's still broken. Like, didn't do anything to fix the window.
The window's still broken, but the plane is plummeting back to the ground, and so it's not subject to the same. That it would be out when it's up high near space. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why you can walk around. And then they quickly had to abandon the plane after that.
Right. Okay. So I just don't know enough about like aerodynamics to understand what happened. Okay, I'm glad. I was like, okay, just magically he's able to walk and Goldfinger couldn't. Like, that's silly. Okay,
he might still be off his feet a little bit just because it's plummeting, but I think he would be able to. He wouldn't be getting sucked out the window at least.
Okay.
So there are actually a couple things that I didn't expect that I really enjoyed from the film. One is kind of like the seagull. It was when they did a transitions shot of just showing the plane flying, like, oh, we're going to America, or we're going to some other place. You could totally tell that it was just this toy plane that was on a string flying along. And they, that's what they had the budget for. That's what they had the special effects that they could do. So it was just funny to see in the middle of this James Bond film. And then one thing that I really, really actually did enjoy is the first appearance of Oddjob. You never actually see Oddjob. You see his hand for doing the judo chop. That's like the most powerful thing that he could ever do, apparently, because one judo chop knocks out anyone.
Yeah.
But you only see his silhouette, and you like see him turn, and you see like his full silhouette. I loved that shot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I noted the judo chop hand too. I think that's so funny that it just like comes into screen. You're ready to strike. You're like, oh no, weapon, boom.
Yeah, and even later on, he does the judo chop to James Bond's chest, and it's like the most winding thing. James Bond like collapses back, like, oh. I just don't think he has the knowledge of pressure points, or I don't think he's hitting pressure points. I think he's just randomly tapping the guy's chest.
You don't know judo.
I don't know judo. It's true. He's from Korea though. He's probably doing taekwondo. What did you think about the music of the film?
I really liked it. I noted that I really enjoyed Goldfinger's theme song at the beginning. I enjoyed it. And then also, I do remember talking about how I was excited to see the inspiration that Austin Powers took for all of those movies. Like, I was excited to see those dynamics. And I saw in that song, she mentions that Goldfinger has the Midas touch, and Foxy Cleopatra sings that Goldmember has the Midas touch. And I was like, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly, for sure. Yeah, the music was really good. I liked the way that it was interwoven in the film.
Yeah.
And even when they weren't using the main theme, which they used heavily, I think they did that really well. But just in general, the music was really well done.
I would agree.
Okay, so Beck, is there anything else that you wanted to note about the Goldfinger film?
No, not really.
I guess the only thing to figure out now then is which one was better, the film or the script? I don't know what you're going to go with.
Okay, so I'm going to say that the script is better simply because reading it held my attention. Watching it did not hold my attention.
That's fair. I'm going to go with the film.
Okay.
Because I think that the pacing just felt better watching it than reading it. And that some things, I think they corrected for at least a little bit for things in the film that were on the script. For instance, I don't remember seeing the hair smelling scene. I don't remember him actually smelling any woman's hair. Yeah. And so just those small things make the film better for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so next week, we're going to do Diablo Cody's Jennifer's Body.
Oh, we're going into the horror genre.
Yeah, we haven't done a horror, and I just needed something that was, like, women heavy after Bond. Let's have a badass chick doing badass things.
I have a feeling this one will pass the Bechdel test.
Yay!
Yeah.
That would be nice change.
It would be funny if it didn't.
Yeah, to be fair, they probably do often talk about just the men in their lives. Hopefully not.
No doubt.
Okay, sweet.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time then.
Yeah.